Hello, church family. I just want to share a revelation with you or some revelations with you. What God has been speaking to me about what is going on in our world. And one of them are the current revelation concerning United States and the money that the lawmakers have passed to send to Ukraine and Israel and Taiwan. I do not like talking about spiritual revelation that is connected to politicians, because politicians will always do what politicians always do. And whenever they talk about God and the things of God, it's not really for the benefit of the kingdom of heaven. It's usually for the benefit of their political life. That's why our God, who is a God of order, is not a God of the politicians. But a lot of times God will give messages to nations, to politicians. Oftentimes, none of them want to listen because their grammar about God and Bible is always for political reasons. So before I get into it, I want to read something for you here in the Bible, in the book of John, chapter 3, verse 10 to 12. And this was Jesus speaking. And he said, I said unto you, are you the teacher of Israel, and you do not know these things? That was Jesus speaking to Nicodemus, who came to him to ask him how he can enter into the kingdom of heaven. So Jesus was telling him so many things, and it was too abstract for him to grasp. So the Lord said, are you a teacher of Israel? Are you a Christian? You say you know God, but none of this makes sense to you? And in verse 11 it said, most assuredly I say to you, we speak what we know and testify what we have seen, and you do not receive our witness. That means you cannot grasp it. He said, but I am telling you what I have seen. I am telling you what I have received, but it does not make sense to you. And in verse 12 he said, if I have told you earthly things and you do not believe, how then will you believe if I tell you heavenly things? That means Jesus was telling him, if I'm telling you something that is you can see in your own environment about you, the human conception and birth, and it looks abstract and sound abstract to you, what if I tell you heavenly things which has nothing to do with human understanding? This is the situation of mankind on earth. A lot of times when God gives revelations to people, to individuals, to nations, to leaders in our world, they often dismiss them because it's always difficult for human beings to understand. But God continued to speak. The current situation that is going on in our world, especially the one that the United States lawmakers that passed about $61 billion to send to Ukraine and Israel and Taiwan, has nothing to do with the Bible. I understand one of those leaders in the United States Congress are saying, he said that it was a Bible that made him do it, or whatever that was. But I just want to tell you, before the war in Ukraine and Russia began, God gave me a revelation to the president of Ukraine, Zelensky. And God actually showed him to me when that revelation went to him, and he wouldn't even want to talk to that person because he didn't look like him. The revelation was that Europe and Joe Biden was not going to win that war. And that what that war was going to do, but it was to kill so many people, but they will not win that war. And the Lord told me that Europe, the Western Europe, will save Russia. That was a mind-blowing revelation, and I got cursed out online. But that revelation still stands. The only thing that has happened in that war is the death of so many human beings. whether they were forced to fight that war and those who consciously joined the army. That is the only thing that happens. And Ukraine and Europe have continued to lose grounds against the Russian forces. Now, when it comes to United States, the Lord told me about the money they have just passed, that money is a curse to America. Sad to say, if you are living in United States, pray for that nation. The Lord told me that money is a curse to America. And none of their war plan will succeed. None. When the Hamas entered into Israel and killed the Israelites, and Netanyahu was preparing for war, I have written this down on our Facebook. I got cussed out that the Lord said should send message to Netanyahu that he will not win that campaign that he was planning. And that the state of Israel, as we used to know, ended on that day, October 7th. So the next thing that we will hear about the state of Israel will not be what we used to know. If he likes, he can kill everybody in Palestine or Gaza Strip. He can kill everybody in the West Bank. The decree of the Lord stands. He will not win that war. And now for Joe Biden, the Lord actually showed me a lot of blood in his hands. Joe Biden, it is time for him to ask for forgiveness of the living God before he leaves this world. The Lord showed me a lot of blood in his hands. Pray for America.